Alright, hey everybody, welcome back. This is episode 2 of Tech Hit Light. Let's build a nuclear power plant, and I'm going to get right into it. Oh, before I get into it, actually, I have added an objective that I completely forgot. We're going to need a force field core. And I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but off camera, I have made a few decisions that I will enlighten you about. Um, there is going to need to be an underground to this facility. And what's going to have to happen is that the breeder reactor is going to have to receive power first. And what I'm going to do is probably going to be pretty dangerous because actually, let me start clearing the floor while I'm yapping my mouth. I'm going to have to power up the breeder, which is going to have to supply power to MFSUs, which in turn is going to have to turn on a force field, and the purpose of the force field is going to be so that I can inject coolant into the reactor itself and make it safe or keep it safe. I don't know what this business is here. Um, so yeah, I'm actually going to have to turn on a breeder and make it unsafe for an undetermined amount of time until it gets a sufficient amount of power to keep itself running. So that is going to be a trick. Now, I have said a few times I really want to get this power plant running without the use of any solar panels or any outside power sources for that matter, even if it's a coal generator. I really don't want to have to use that kind of stuff. That will be the challenge that I have given myself. So let me get some torches down here. Here we go. I'm going to clear this bottom area. This is going to be where I am going to put the mass fabricator and also the recyclers. This is going to be the part of the factory where all that business happens. The recyclers should be close to the scrap production towers, which they are. We have the 4 towers on the outsides. And the mass fabricator will have to receive power directly from the main reactor. So that'll keep it nice and close. Everything will be nice and tight, which is good. Let's see here. This is going to upset me. I'm just going to... This floor is easy to rebuild. I'm going to need to go farther down than this. More boring dirt cleaning. I will not ask for forgiveness. However, there we go. Let's just do this. Actually, I should probably just wipe out this whole floor now that I have the main design ready to go. It'll just make it easier on me, and then we'll put the floor back in afterwards. No worries, no worries, no harm done. Okay. The next thing I'll do, so I'll have to get the breeder online. I'll have to make actually a bunch of this stuff. I may actually make the molecular assembly chamber and the AE and install the drives, put the controller in, and everything I'll need for that before it actually has any source of power, just so that when I do jumpstart the system, it's going to have something to do, because as soon as I jumpstart the system, I am going to be risking a nuclear meltdown from the breeder, which is typically not what anybody wants, and definitely not what I want. Let's see, one more here. Alright, I'm going to add in this paver. The deuce. Here we go. Just want to cover all these walls. That's why I wanted to have the main facility above ground, so I wouldn't have to do a lot of dirt clearing. Could have installed a quarry if I was super lazy, but that's not a route that I wanted to go. So you're gonna have to deal with this as... Oh, bloody Okay, well let me not break my own code, and I'll just start with this. And we're going to continue with the brick, because that is what I decided the walls were going to be made out of. And since this is still a wall, I'm going to want to stick to the code. Okay. Put that there. What the deuce? Okay. This will still remain an entrance, even though it's below ground. There we go. That. Just gonna cover all this, make it look pretty. Make it exactly symmetrical, and I'm sorry, but you're gonna watch me do this. There we go. I'll keep looking at it until it finally drives me up the wall, and I'll end up redoing it anyway. So actually we can keep that there because that is the dividing line between the floor and the ceiling of this underground chamber here. Really haven't decided yet where I'm going to put the force field, but it should be in proximity to the breeder, because the breeder is going to be what is going to feed it power, which is actually something that I totally overlooked in the preliminary design phases of this factory, that the breeder would actually need to support a huge amount of power to the force fields. So our use of force fields is most certainly going to be limited to no more than 2. Maybe at the end, when the whole thing's finished, we'll do some fun stuff to the reactor, or to the facility, and we'll add in some neat little features. Maybe you guys will get your elevator after all, but I doubt it. Okay, so in this room that I'm clearing right now, we're going to put the scrap, we're going to put the recyclers, excuse me, and we're going to have the scrap towers feeding into the recyclers. I'm not quite sure how I want that to happen yet, because the more export and import buses that I use with AE, again, the more power I'm going to use. So a better way to go may end up being red power. I'll have to do a little bit of research and find out how much EU per tick import and export buses actually absorb. I really can't imagine that it's that significant. And using those things is way better and cleaner than red power too. So I'll make that decision when we get to it. I won't redo the walls here yet. Just want to make sure that I have room and that the 4 towers are going to be able to get jacked in. We'll do 5 down. And then I'll come in through the side in each case. Just like this. Let's put a torch down so we can actually see. Alright, so we have an odd center, which is awesome. That's what I want. Here is the walkway. I'm going to go over to that side. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there we go. It's already clean. Let's do the same for these. And we'll go over here. Alright, and then we'll join these tunnels. These are going to be the access tunnels into which the scrap will flow. And then the scrap will flow down and flow into this central room here, which the center is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What the? Okay, good job, Captain. Good job. Let's fix this epic mistake before things get out of hand. Alright, here we go. Oops, went a little bit too far there. Alright, so that's why we don't have a center of the room, because I don't know what I'm doing. That really confused me. I'm glad I did that first before I loaded this room with gadgets. Okay, so that was right. So here we go. Now we are back on track. Oh boy, the things that bother me. Alright, so now this is the center of the room, and we have our hallway right here. Okay, so this is going to conjoin the two towers. The scrap is going to flow into here. I'm not sure if I want to make it flow into the AE system first. That will depend on which method I choose, and I think the AE will distribute in a little bit more even fashion than red power. So what I need to do is, first of all, just to get a feel for things, is I'm going to set up my molecular assembly chamber. So I'm going to go search for ME. Alright, we're going to need a pattern provider, heat vents. Where are heat vents? Here we go. Containment wall, heat vents, and a CPU. CPU, where are you? No. Here it is. It's right here. It's right next to all the other stuff. What a funny place for it. Okay, so we have our containment wall here. We're going to throw heat vents down the center again. I'm really not sure how big this box needs to be. It may not need to be any taller than this. But we'll have to see. That gives me 7, 8 CPUs in one pattern. This is a decision that I'm not sure I can make right now. It's all going to depend on how fast this can keep up. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to severely limit the size of this box, again, in an effort to save power. I'm going to enclose all these up here. And then we're going to put crafting CPUs to make this thing fast. We don't need any more than one pattern provider. And then we're going to cover this back up with heat vents. And that will make our pretty box here in the floor. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, so I can go right up to it and do all sorts of fun stuff. We're going to have some ME cable, if I can find it here. We're going to have that running directly out of the center, just like I had originally planned. Okay, and I want to put, not a crafting monitor, I want to put a crafting terminal. Put one of those right here, just so when I walk in, I can see exactly what's going on. And then I'll have the main system up top here, and that's going to be my ME controller, if I can spell, which I clearly can't. Here it is, the ME controller is gonna go right here. Now technically the ME controller doesn't need to be visible. However, since I am concerned about my power consumption, I will keep it visible. So we have an ME crafting terminal. I am going to put a crafting monitor, and I think that's going to be the extent of my system, except for, of course, the drive, the ME drive here. And actually we'll do the ME drive, and then we'll put the controller on top, because the controller is also going to need a power source. And then we're going to take some, I'm not going to use anything more than 16K cells. That's a little too many. ME drive, there we go, load that with 16K cells. Alright, so now my system is ready to go, and I'm not actually going to use this, but I just want to see where we stand right now, just as a kind of gauge to see how much power we're using up. Alright, 35 units per tick. Now, I am planning on having the breeder reactor use approximately, or produce approximately 240 EU per tick. So this should actually work out fairly nicely. I should be able to go ahead and use the buses. We're at 35 units per tick. I'm going to add that onto the system. Okay, it's going to go up 1 unit per tick, looks like, for every one of these that I put on, and probably import and export buses are going to be the same. So that should be decent. I'm going to let this drain out. So we're at about 35 EU per tick right now. So that will leave us about 205 EU per tick to fill up the MFSU power storage room, and also power the force field. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff here. Oops, got rid of the paver. And let's put in these nuclear reactors here, just so I can kind of get a sense of what's going on. Make me think this place is coming together faster than it actually is. Okay, we're going to put these on the outside, 6 chambers. And while we're here, let's just do that over here as well. There we go. You have to place the nuclear reactor first. It's a super pain in the butt if you're trying to do it in the air. Luckily, I already had it done. Alright, so again, the force field is going to extend down to here. I will be able to walk underneath. Power is going to come out through the bottom. And let's just put a transformer. We're going to want a high voltage transformer and a wrench. And everybody's favorite prototype Omni wrench. Okay, we're going to put this here. We're going to make sure that the output is where we can't see it. So I shift clicked with an Omni wrench. What this will allow the reactor to do is output extreme voltage and divide it up into 512 packets, which can be sent to a mass fabricator. Mass fabricator cannot accept extreme voltage, as probably a lot of people have found out by accident or on purpose, whatever you're trying to do. And let's put some, I get so sidetracked and all these things. I just start doing things that don't need to be done. But there we go. So that's going to flow down into the mass fabricator. So let's come back into this room where we really actually need to be. And I still need to decide where I want to... Oh, hold on a minute. Maybe I can put the force field right here. That'll be in the floor. That'll give power to here and here. I shouldn't even need a range upgrade. And then 3 inputs. I'm just trying to think here of all the stuff that needs to be attached to this to make it work properly. I'll need power to come down through here. Okay. Problem solved. This is the vision here. Power is going to come out the back through, and I'm just going to put an HV transformer here, even though what's coming out of this reactor will not, that won't be hold on. That won't be necessary. So shift click. Alrighty then. Here we go. Problems with the live broadcast. It wouldn't let me shift click, that's why. Okay, so I'm going to shift click this, put the input side facing the reactor, and what's going to happen is the power is going to come down and out through here and into my force field core. But before it hits the force field core, I definitely need to send it into the MFSU power storage first, and that is going to be located underneath, I believe, because a lot of the machines, like I said before, are going to be right here, and the machines are going to have power underneath like this and like this. Okay, I'm going to put the machines on top. I might have to do 2 layers of machines depending on how much room I have or don't have. Let's see. So power will come out through the breeder. I want to capture that power and put it in reserve for the force field, for the AE system, and also for the force field. So I think actually what I can do is delicately remove this dirt. There we go. And okay, power flows down. I'm not sure how many MFSUs I'll actually need because I haven't done enough experimenting with this. Let me drop some torches. I can't put them on there. Drop some torches. Let me install the force field. Get that up and running right away. I'm going to get one range upgrade, and we'll do the rest storage upgrades. Okay, so we'll put storage. This is excessive. I don't think I'll need a big force field. Put the core in the center. This is capable of storing quite a bit. These add, I think, 2 million per. So that'll be about 1 MFSU's worth. Let's do that, and I'll put a range upgrade here, and then we'll cut this off, and we'll just do a force field of that size. No need for excessive size. Let's go one down, or one more down, layer down in this floor. And we also need to figure out how the AE system is going to be receiving its power. And I don't want it coming in directly from the reactor, because if for whatever reason I need to shut this down, I don't want to shut down my AE system. I want to keep that up and running, which technically I could put another MFSU. I understand that this is a lot of MFSUs to fill. Let me just, for the sake of argument, throw an MFE down, because I forget how much these hold. 60,000. Could the applied energistic system run off an MFE? I don't want to risk it. Okay? So I'm going to put this here. I am going to need to change the output side to here. This does change my original plan slightly. Ever so slightly. Oh. Ah. Okay. You know what? Forget that. We're gonna put the power core right here. There we go. This might take a while to fill up. I might actually have to use power from the main generator. No, I can't do that because it won't be made yet. I want this factory to build itself. So we're gonna change the... Oh, what am I doing? There we go. So these are all gonna be outputs. Now there is just no way that this amount of MFSUs is necessary. This is 40 million, and this is taking up 2, 4, 6 million, plus the internal storage. I think it's 8 million. So this is about 5 MFSUs worth. So the power is going to come in here into the MFSUs. It's going to load up those first. I want to completely get rid of this thing right here. And what I'm going to have it do is I'm going to run the power down out of the sides. Now these will not transfer power to one another because of how they're set up, or at least they most certainly shouldn't. There we go. So power comes down, it distributes through there, and it can be pulled from the course here. A smarter way to do it might be to have it run down an all-out 1. I don't think it matters. Throw something in the comments if you think this is not going to work. But I think it's going to work. All right. So these MFSUs, we got 4 of them. And this system is expandable, so I can add a couple more in the bottom. And I can keep going down farther if I actually want to. I'm going to have this run into here. Okay. And then what I'm going to have the system do is still need to get power to AE, and I really don't want to poke a hole here and come straight up. This actually should not be necessary. Should not be necessary. Oh, This is what I get for not planning this, which I guess is the purpose of this series anyways. I'm not dealing with that. Oh, where do I run it? It comes underneath. I guess it wouldn't really kill me to have it run through the back, now would it? It also wouldn't kill me either. Oh. You know what? I can't think of a good reason why the controller needs to be up there. So, in an effort to make the factory look better, which is a sacrifice that I'm always willing to make, I'm going to actually pipe this down through here. There we go. Now we have power. Well, we would if the thing was on. But what this does is it just powers the controller from right there. And since the controller is connected to the molecular assembly chamber, voila, my whole system has the power. I got a nasty block on the floor, but it was, I still want to click on it. Okay, all right. That's why that's there. We'll pretend that's why that's there. Okay. All right, so I can click on this. We don't know how much E over tick we're up to yet, but it's okay. We have our force field set up there. We have our nuclear reactors where they're going to be. We have the AE system set up. And I am going to have to fill this nuclear reactor here. Let me just do something real quick. Put that back. I was just checking the time. I have no idea how long I've been recording for. But this may be a good stopping point for this episode. So I kind of have a layout going here. I have some of the machines installed. I'll need to clear out the rest of this room. We have our MFSU storage, which the breeder is going to be providing power for. So the breeder will power that, we'll power this, we'll power AE. And the very last thing, while I am here, that we will do is to make sure we have a definitive plan for the power for the recyclers. Because those MFSUs also have to power the recyclers, so let's build a power trunk line that comes down through the bottom of the facility and into here. Now these will not intersect in any way. Let's see. I might as well place the mass fabricator where I think I want it anyway. Let's get one of those. There we go. That's not right because of one simple fact. It's going to have to be set up like this. There we go. I'll grab it like that. And that's because UU matter produced is shot out to the top, and scrap needs to be injected through the bottom. So actually, let me just do bus. Let's get them both in one shot. Import and export bus. So we're gonna get that here, that here. Okay, that'll take scrap, inject it into here, or scrap boxes actually, because we need to convert it first. Scrap boxes, put it into there, and it will take the UU matter and pull it back into the system, which is also something that I will do before I wrap up this episode. Let's see here. Okay. How do I want this? How do I want this? Let's just do that. just going to use the fewest amount, or the smallest amount of cable possible. Let's wipe out these. There we go. And we'll pipe this directly into that chamber. There we go. Through here, through here. There we go. Okay, so the mass fabricator's hooked up. This, I'm not sure what the end result of this is going to be. Possibly a stripe of recyclers down the center would be the optimal thing to do. Okay, but we can install that in the next episode. Okay, so yeah, so there we go. We've hooked up power. We have a general idea of how power is going to flow throughout the facility, which is usually the biggest handicapper of all. I don't like the fact that I can see this, so I'm going to lower this one. There we go. So I can put paver back in there, or brick. Marble brick. There we go. Okay. Very good. Facility is coming right along. So, there we have it. Keep following the series, guys. We appreciate your views. If you have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them in the box below. Check out the recording date of the video. It should be released fairly quickly after the recording date. So if you have any suggestions for the factory, put them in quick. I am going to be recording these probably back to back. So your suggestions will have to be for down the road. Whatever you're looking at right now, there's probably already another video out. So here's the facility so far. I am Captain Jack. I'm one of the MindCrafters. And if you guys get a chance, check out our website. Some cool stuff going on there. We're using Sphax Pure BDcraft for Tekkit Lite. Check out our Facebook page. We're themindcrafters.com on Facebook as well, and there's definitely a lot going on there. So, as always, guys, keep watching and stay poised.